Namaste, namaste, and welcome to Saturday morning yoga. We are raring to go with our third week of investigating a warrior flow, and we're going to add a little bit more to it today. So we're going to start with our feet nice and wide apart and a little softness in the knees. So if you bounce your knees a few times, you feel the connection between your foot and your mat, or your foot and the floor, a little bit better. So take this opportunity to just bounce a few times and feel the parts of the foot that are on the floor. And then you can bring yourself to center, keep the knees a little soft, and gently twist from side to side. So we're starting with this mobilizing practice, and then we're going to practice some stillness. And when we do our stillness, we'll center and connect with our breath. But for now, drawing your abdominal muscles a little bit inwards, maybe lifting a touch in the pelvic floor, letting the arms and shoulders relax and be loose, wrapping the body, perhaps tapping the body. Notice as you move how it feels in your feet and in the back of the body, across the buttocks, across the low back, the backs of the legs, and the fronts of the legs, of course. And then when we've been doing this for a little while, perhaps we like to pivot on the toes. And that makes the movement slightly different. You can give yourself a little soft bounce of the knees, or a softness of the knees in between our twists from side to side. Notice if you feel that you have to contain this a little bit more with your tummy muscles or your buttocks, because it's a much more dynamic movement. And you can let the arms go a little further from the body, touching the opposite shoulder in front of you and the opposite hip behind. Kati Chakrasana is the name of this practice, the ragdoll, and it's a really lovely way to get rid of postural tension, but also if you just woke up not feeling quite yourself, what it does is it allows the energy to move along our energetic channels, our nadis. It stimulates that flow, gets rid of blockages, helps to sort of begin the cleansing of the whole system if it needs cleansing. When you're ready, you can let your bounce go. Simply pivot on your toes, and then allow your heels to find the mat and sway steadily to stillness. When you come into stillness, closing the eyes if you can, gazing downward if you prefer, and just taking a moment to notice how you feel now with the absence of movement. And stillness is never really truly still. There is still the rhythmic movement of your breath, your heartbeat, and perhaps with your eyes closed, just those little micro movements made through the body to maintain your balance. Perhaps you can also feel a sense of vibration through the body, or tingling in the fingertips. Take this moment to step away from the rest of the things that go on in your life. Step onto your yoga mat, into your yoga space. Indulge yourself with the next 90 minutes to nurture, heal, restore your energy, your body, your vitality. To find your inner strength, the confidence, to find your inner light. Notice the breath that you're breathing right now. Which part of your body moves first as you inhale? And then just lightly resting your hands on your abdomen, soften the shoulders. And on your next exhalation, draw your navel gently towards your spine to help aid that exhalation. Then breathe deeply into the sides of the body, the upper back, the chest. And breathe out slowly, deeply, completely, using that gentle engagement. And it's really very soft across the abdomen. Soft engagement, that's a misnomer. Breathing deeply into the rib cage, the collarbones, the shoulder blades. Breathing fully, slowly, completely out. A few more rounds of breath like this. Allow your inhalation to find space through the whole of the body to breathe into. And as you breathe out, softening the features of the face, the shoulders, the jaw, and then engaging across the abdominal muscles. Breathing in. And gently releasing out. One more deep breath. And then relaxing your arms to your sides. Draw your chin towards your chest and allow your breath to find its own rhythm. It might be slightly slower and deeper than it was to start. We're going to roll the right ear towards the right shoulder and the chin towards the chest, and then the left ear towards the left shoulder. If these neck movements don't suit you, please try something else. Neck turns or nodding backwards and forwards, or just plain ear to shoulder from upright. If you're rolling, experience the sensation of connection between the jaw, the ear, the neck, the chest, the shoulder, the back. When you're ready, you can roll the head in circles if you like doing that. You don't have to if you don't like doing that. You might find a touch of softness in the knees, a touch of engaging through the abdomen and the buttocks helps to keep you standing steady. Let's go the opposite way as well. If you can practice with your eyes closed in these moments where we're developing awareness of connection, then you get better feedback from the sensations as you move. When you're ready, you can bring your head back to center, opening your eyes, unless you're particularly keen to stick with your eyes closed, and we'll roll our shoulders, just beginning that mobilizing of the shoulders a little bit more, but still feeling the connection into the neck. So as we move the shoulders, be aware of that. Very good. We're going to go the opposite way as well. Smashing stuff. And then taking your right hand, resting it wherever is comfortable. If you want to be on your hip or down by your side, this is fine. Left elbow nice and soft, and larger circles with your left elbow. So really relaxed in the rest of the arm, allowing the elbow to lead the movement. And as you do a few, perhaps just feeling if your body is ready to allow the sides of the body, the front and the back of the body to become part of the movement, and allow your head to move naturally with the movement of your arms so your neck is not fixed or stuck in any one place. Let's reverse that rotation as well. So as we do this, a little firmness across the belly, maybe a touch of engagement through the buttocks as well. Very good. We'll do one more in this direction. And and relaxing that arm to the side. Feel the difference between the two sides of the body, the two shoulders, the two arms, and then the same thing on the opposite side. Touch of softness in the knees and a nice bend to the elbow as we make movements. Now, I tend to start my second side already moving my torso. I've noticed this over some months of practice. But if you want to start a little bit smaller on your second side, that's okay. Remember to allow your face to be soft, the jaw relaxed, the neck free to move. And then we're going to reverse our rotation, going the opposite way. Feeling that relationship between the movement of the shoulder, the sides of the body, the engagement necessary to find stability in the center as well. And whilst we're only aware of the more superficial muscles working, most of the time, unless you're particularly adept at muscles, the other deeper muscles are also stabilizing and supporting. Let's finish resting that arm down to the side. Feel the difference again, or feel the balance between the two sides perhaps. And then we're going to take our hands onto our hips, little softness in the knees for a little wiggle. And so we're going to start by doing whatever comes naturally to you. So if you find that your torso likes to join in the movement, then you can absolutely move your torso and soften the knees as much as you need to. You can turn your toes a little bit out if it's more comfortable for hips and knees. And so if you're doing more subtle movement with the torso more upright, that's okay. We're actually going to do both. So stick with whatever comes naturally first, and then reverse the rotation, so doing whatever comes naturally in the opposite direction as well. Very good. And then we're going to come to the center and do the opposite. So if you are making bigger movements, you're going to make more subtle movements with just the hips. And if you were doing more subtle movements, making bigger movements with the torso as well. So whatever it was, the opposite. And then reversing that rotation as well. And that helps us to step away from habitual patterns of practice so that we get more out of our practice. Lovely. And coming back to the center. Excellent stuff. We're going to just step our feet a little bit closer together. And then we're going to do a little bit of balancing with some figure of eights with the knees. So what you need is a point of focus ahead of you that's not moving, to take your weight onto your right foot and lift the left knee up in front of you, and then start with just some circling of the knee. And if you want to use a wall or a chair for a touch of support, absolutely do that. It's probably better than fighting to stay upright too strongly. Circling in the opposite direction as well. Using your arms if you want for a bit of balance, no problem. But a touch of firmness across the standing leg and buttock and the belly muscles will help here too. Let us float that foot to the floor and just again feel the difference between the two sides. Point of focus, soft breath, soft face. Weight onto your left foot, lifting your right knee up, and then starting with circles, just circles to begin with. And it's okay to wobble. Wobbling just shows we're alive, and it's how the body gets better at balance and proprioception. Going the opposite way as well, using anything you might need for support, remembering to engage your muscles. Very good. It's most disconcerting having a screen in front of me actually with all of you guys moving on it. It's not your fault, it's my fault for looking there. Okay, so now we'll do the opposite side. So we'll take the weight onto the right foot, lifting the left knee up, and we're going to make much bigger movements in a figure of eight. So we're using the knee to draw that figure of 8 in front of the body and behind the body. Standing legs soft so that you can bend it as deeply as you need to. Arms either helping or holding onto something, that's absolutely okay. But keep your knee nice and bent as you go. And if you're training for the snowboarding season, perhaps, or surfing season, paddleboarding, this is really good practice. We'll do one more in this direction. And then we're just going to float the foot to the floor. So I'm not going to ask you to reverse direction this week, but maybe next week. Take a note of how the body feels left to right. Using that point of focus, transfer your weight, a little softness in your standing leg, which is your left leg now, and then making your figure of 8s with your right knee. And notice which side is more challenging. Or if it's easier to do the figure of 8s because you've got so much counterbalancing happening in the upper body. Maybe it was easier to do just the circles. Who knows? A little firmness in the belly, remember? You will absolutely have to keep that firmness in the buttocks as well. One more, she says. And then floating the right foot to the floor as well. Notice how the legs feel. They're so fired up by doing that. If you want to, you can give them a little shake out. Little shake out. Fantastic stuff. Okay, so we're going to come down to the mat now and do some things. We're going to start at the back of the mat, stand in Tadasana, turning the palms forward. You're going to breathe in, reach the arms up, looking up, and as you breathe out, just draw the palms together, soften the knees and fold over your legs. Come into a standing forward bend, widen the feet a little for a sway of the upper body from side to side. So here, scooping the belly in, perhaps just a touch, just to create space for the forward bend. Knees as soft as they need to be to feel no strain in the low back. And the back of the neck long and relaxed. Maybe you can even just wave the nose from side to side a little, if that feels good. If you prefer to keep your upper body a bit more still, you can just gently lengthen and bend through opposite legs in the center. And that will have a very similar effect. Just approach from the opposite side. And then when you're ready, we're going to walk the hands out in front of us to come into hands and knees. Very good. Knees nice and wide, hands nice and wide, a little firmness in the belly, and then circling the navel around the mat. So circling hips here, thinking about keeping the elbows nice and soft to keep power into the hands and the shoulders. Reversing your rotation when you're ready. Being sure to take your hips towards your heels. We tend to, or I tend to end up more over my hands than over my knees. And then coming back to the center. And here in the center, bringing the hands perhaps just a little touch closer towards each other, and the knees as well, perhaps hip width apart now. And we'll do a little cat-cow. So firming first the pelvic floor, and then drawing the abdominal muscles gently in. Press the mat away from you so that you really lift the spine away from the floor to begin with. As you inhale, look forward, lift your tailbone. And then as you exhale, round through the spine, drawing the chin to the chest, lifting the back of the body up. And then I'd like you to forget about your breath. So for this next one, just explore that articulation to come forward. Maybe feel the heels of the hands dragging back towards you a touch, the softness in the elbows to open the chest. And then pressing the mat away from you. finding that hollow space between the collarbones as well as in the abdomen as you lift up. Tuck the tailbone under just a little bit more perhaps. Forwards and backwards a few more times, maybe 2 more times. You're welcome to coordinate with your breath, but try to avoid doing a mindless cat-cow. Do it with great awareness instead. Very good. And then back in the center, we're going to keep the toes tucked under, pad the hands back towards the body and kneel so that our buttocks are on the heels. So if that's really intense for the soles of the feet, remember that you can come up and spend a few moments with the hips lifted and then bring the buttocks back towards the heels. And here we're going to interlace the fingers and just give a little bit of figure of eights with the wrists. Nice job. We'll go the opposite way as well with the wrists. And you'll be amazed how quickly you can build up your ability to sit in this position for longer periods of time. When you first start, of course, you're in and out of it because it's very intense. Okay, we're going to come back to hands and knees now. And we're going to do something called, well, it's an animal movement called the tiger sometimes. So here, we're going to float the knees just a centimetre or so off the floor, pressing the mat away, firming the belly, firming anything that we can down into the mat. And then lifting the right hand and the left foot up briefly, and then the opposite side briefly. So the idea is to keep the torso in about the same place and lifting opposite hands and feet. It requires quite a lot of concentration and quite a lot of effort. We'll do one more to each side, and when you're finished, tuck the toes flat and sit back onto your heels with your toes tucked flat. If that pulls on your knees, then use a block to lift your buttocks up a little bit. And again, we'll bring this time the palms of the hands together and just roll the hands together and apart. So we roll through the backs of the hands, the palms of the hands. Very good. We're going to reverse that rotation as well. Smashing stuff. Okay, guys. So again, coming into hands and knees, but this time we're going to come up into downward facing dog. So here, maybe widening the space between the hands and the knees. Again, pressing into the mat with the toes, the hands, firming the belly muscles, float the knees just off the floor, and then press the hips, the buttocks back towards the feet. Look towards the feet maybe, extending through the arms, not locking straight, and then uncurling the legs into your downward facing dog. It feels like a sweet relief to have straighter legs, but you can, of course, walk your dog a little bit from side to side, just to open up the back of the body a bit more. And if you want to, you can press through your arms alternately as well, so you get a gentle undulation through your upper body or a gentle twist. Or you may just prefer to look from side to side with the head. Any of these is good. Super stuff. So we are going to do a little waving vinyasa here. So if you want to do this on your knees, you're absolutely welcome to. Taking the hips towards the heels, looking towards the feet, and then rounding through the spine as you press off the feet. When the shoulders come over the hands, imagine you're dragging the heels of the hands backwards to open your chest. Soft elbows, soft knees, little sway from side to side if you can. From here in your center, bend your knees, press your chest back towards your hips, chest back towards your thighs, and then come into your downward facing dog, uncurling. And then we'll do one more like that, dropping the hips towards the heels, press off the toes to round through the upper back. Drag the hands backwards to open your chest. Maybe a little twist from side to side this time. little lift in the belly. And then here, bending the knees, pressing the chest back towards the thighs, uncurling into downward facing dog. Here in downward dog, just stepping your feet towards each other. We're going to keep the, let's see, the right foot down, lift the left leg up. A little bend in that right leg so we can bounce in our three-legged dog. You can bend the top leg if you want to, or you can keep it long. Little bounce, and then we're going to step the left foot to the outside of the left hand and let the right knee come down behind you. So we're in a little lunge here, and we're going to stir the hips in our lunge, making circles, hip circles in the lunge. So the foot can also articulate against the floor, moving around. We're going to reverse that rotation if that feels comfortable. We're just stirring the thigh bones in the hips, preparing the pelvis for our lovely work. And then here, keeping the the right hand down, taking the left hand to the left thigh and turning your chest towards that thigh. You can press the thigh slightly away from you. You can angle your foot outwards if that feels good to your hips. And just taking a little deep breath here, rolling the shoulders open. You can even arch your back away from your thigh if that feels comfortable. And then relaxing. Okay, so taking the right hand out to the right a little further, I'm going to step onto the left foot and bring the right leg all the way through. So we're sitting in Dandasana. Nice. That's the transition that I couldn't remember last week. I was like, how did this happen? How did we get here? I know there's a graceful way to do it. That was the graceful way to do it. So lifting the flesh of the buttocks backwards so that you're able to sit tall. You can have your feet as wide apart as you like, and you can have the knees as bent as you like. We're going to reach the arms up, inhaling, and as you exhale, folding forward over the legs. You're going to draw the hands back towards the body, just to sort of rounding to upright, lifting up, and then folding forwards over the legs. We'll do one more like that, lifting up and folding forwards over the legs. And then as you come up to sitting, we're going to go to the left. So we stepped forward with the left foot, we're going to go to the left. We're going to reach the left hand down behind us, slide onto the floor, and then roll onto our tummies. If you want to shift yourself back onto your mat, you're absolutely welcome to do that. Rest the forehead to the back of the hands for a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Then bring the thighs together and the hands nice and wide. Roll the pelvis down into the mat, roll the shoulder blades towards each other. Press up into a lowish cobra. Elbows nice and bent, but elbows wide, and just gently twisting from side to side, or bobbing up and down, or swaying from side to side, whatever feels good to you. So just trying to create space in the low back, activation as well. Space in the low abdomen, activation in the low back. Let's come back to the center and release down. We'll tuck the toes under, hands back towards the body, press up into hands and knees, and then from here into downward facing dog to do the whole thing on the opposite side. So the feet are quite close together. We're going to lengthen the right leg up into the air. The left knee can bend, so we get a little lift and bounce through our three-legged dog. And then when you're ready, drawing that right foot to the outside of the right hand, left knee to the mat for hip circling. And circling all the way around your foot, or concentrating on how your thigh bones feel rolling in the joints. You can just go backwards and forwards if it feels good to you. Whatever you're doing, reverse your rotation. Oh, sorry, if you're rotating, reverse your rotation. Notice if this side feels better than the last side or not. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. And then keeping the left hand down on the floor, take the right hand to the right thigh, just twisting towards that right thigh, maybe opening your toe towards the right, maybe rolling onto the outside edge of the foot, press the thigh away from you. You can even draw your shoulder blades back to arch your spine away from your thigh if it feels good to do that. Don't do it if it doesn't. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then coming back to the center, move the left hand out to the left. Take your weight onto your right foot and left hand to step your left leg through. And then we're sitting in Dandasana, lifting the flesh of the buttocks, getting the sit bones really nice and firm into the mat there. And here we're going to do our forward folds and draw our bows as well. So if you're not sure what that means, watch the first one. Okay. So reaching the arms up again, doesn't matter how soft the knees are or where the legs are, we're going to fold forward. And the first time, we're going to draw the right heel back towards us, the right hand, and lift the left arm up, like we were drawing a bow. The heel's on the floor to begin with. And we're reaching up in the center, lengthening both legs, and folding over the legs. Doing the same on the left. Draw your left heel, left hand back, reach up with your right hand, a little firmness in the center of the belly muscles there. So we'll do one more like that to each side, folding and then drawing the right arm and heel back towards the body, lifting up, folding, and drawing the left arm and heel back towards the body. And then you've got the option, if you want to lift the leg off the floor. So folding, and then if you want to, you can draw your right knee back, heel up. Lovely. Coming back to the center, folding, drawing the left heel back, left arm, right arm up. And we'll do one more of these to each side, or whichever variation you would like to do. Folding and drawing back with the left side. And then we finish by just releasing the legs to the floor. We're going to take the right hand behind us, slide that hand back so that we roll onto our bellies. If you want to shift yourself back onto your mat, you can. Rest your forehead on your hands and take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Then hands wide from the body, pubic bone firming down, a little touch of firmness in the belly muscles and the buttocks. Press into the hands to raise yourself up into this wide cobra and just waving the body, the upper body from side to side. So not twisting this time, just waving. A little press up and then press over, up and down. And imagine you're still opening your chest, still dragging the heels of the hands and the elbows back behind you. That really activates the openness of the chest, that center between the shoulder blades. When you're ready, coming to the center and releasing down, we're going to take the hands underneath the shoulders or towards the chest, tuck the toes, come back to hands and knees and back into downward facing dog. And at the end of all of that limbering, we're going to finish with a waving vinyasa for those who would like to do one, or a rest in child's pose if you would need one of those. So soften the knees, buttocks to the heels, press off the toes, round through the spine, scoop the belly in, draw the heels of the hands back, open the chest, soft elbows, soft knees, and then press up through plank or back into your crouching dog. And back to downward dog. And then here, from downward dog, just maybe taking a rest in down dog for a couple of deep breaths. If you want to keep paddling, if that feels good to your body, then you can. You don't ever have to hold a posture rigid or still. Keep negotiating your way into it, exploring space. And then when you're ready, you can walk your feet all the way to your hands. Nice wide feet for the forward bend, so about shoulder width apart perhaps.
And if it feels good to you, swaying the upper body from side to side, and if it doesn't feel good, don't do that, it's okay. Or perhaps holding in the center and just shaking the head and nodding the head. And then when you're ready, you can bend your knees deeply, settle your weight into your heels, press through the legs to round through the spine up to standing at the top. If you don't feel dizzy, lift the arms, look up, draw the palms of the hands together, and then settle them down to your chest. But if you feel dizzy, just bring your hands straight to Namaste, chin to chest, to relax the back of the neck. Fantastic. Wherever you are, perhaps joining with the hands in Namaste in your wider legged Tadasana, and taking a few breaths here to allow the body to absorb the effect of the practice so far, to notice how you're feeling. If you want to, I tend to prefer this with the arms relaxed. Relax your arms. We're going to go there anyway. Fantastic stuff. Okay, so we're going to start our standing flow as we did last week. Feel free to adjust your clothing if you should need to. I'm at the opposite end of the mat this week, so that's all good. I'm going to step back with my left leg first, and we will be doing, so we'll be stepping back and doing our twisting warrior ones, coming to goddess pose and doing warrior twos. But we're not going to do the balancing bit at the end because we're going to do that as a slightly different flow later on. Okay, so feet comfortable distance for your Tadasana, palms facing forwards. Feel that natural lift from the center of the foot to the crown of the head. Feel it engage gently across the buttocks and the belly muscles, the pelvic floor perhaps. And as you inhale, reach the palms of the hands forward and up to open your chest. As you exhale, hands together and just gently bend over your softened knees into a forward bend. Here, a little chest opener if you'd like one. Interlace your fingers behind the body and lengthen through the arms a touch. Allow the knees to be as soft as they need to be. A couple of breaths here, letting the weight of the arms open that space at the front of the shoulders. But if you prefer, you can just simply hold elbow to elbow across the back of the body. And then when you're ready, releasing the hands, letting the fingertips graze the mat as you bend deeply into chair pose and reach the arms forward. In your chair pose, firm in the belly, just a gentle bounce up and down on the knees. Then taking your weight onto your right foot and the ball of your left foot. Step your left foot back as far as you can. The toe is tucked under for a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Then press through the legs, come into an upright lunge for a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then firming your left heel into the floor, lengthen your right leg, and let your arms come down to your side or out to the side. There we are. So here, if you're not familiar, just watching, we're going to bend the right knee, come onto the ball of the left foot, press the left hand across the body to twist, looking behind the body and extending the right hand behind us, and then cartwheeling the arms back to the center, turning both feet out to settle into a goddess squat. In your goddess squat, just gently pressing from one foot to the other, or lifting one toe, and then the other, just transferring weight, finding where it feels really buoyant and supported in this pose. And then turning both feet towards the right again, lengthen both legs, both arms out to the side. Firm belly, firm buttocks, bending the right knee, coming onto the ball of the left foot, press the left hand across the body, reaching the right hand behind you, and then cartwheeling the arms back to the center, both toes turning out, hands into prayer position, goddess squat here in the center. If you want to, you can always shift weight, and then turning the toes to the right again, lengthening both legs. Last one of these.
So we're bending the right knee onto the ball of the left foot, press the left hand across the body, firm belly, firm buttocks, reaching long, and then cartwheeling the hands, turning out the toes, coming to our goddess squat. Very good, guys. From goddess, simply step your right heel out to the right. That turns the hip in, lengthens the leg. We're going to turn the left foot out to the left, and we reach the arms wide. We're in warrior two. We haven't had to do anything else. Breathe in as you bring the hands together over the head, long arms, long legs. Breathing out, press the feet slightly away from each other. Imagine someone's drawing your right hand backwards and look over your upturned left palm. Breathing in and up. Breathing out and open into your warrior two. Breathing in and up. Breathing out, opening into your warrior two. From here, let the back hand, the right hand, come forward to your left hand, and then draw your bow open. Right elbow back, left arm up into the air. Very good. Back to warrior three, legs haven't moved. Sweep the back hand forwards and draw your bow. One more time. Back to warrior two, sweep the back hand forwards and draw your bow. And then come back to the center. We're going to lengthen through the left leg, turn both toes to point to the long side of your mat, reach the arms wide and fold forward into your forward bend for a little gentle sway from side to side. And then here in the center, softening both knees, rolling through the spine to come up to standing. Taking the arms into cactus hands. So this is the new part of our practice. So here we're going to start with a surfer squat. So we're going to go over the left leg. So the left knee bends. We're going to draw the right elbow towards the left knee, sticking the bottom out behind us, coming down quite low, and then pressing through that left leg to return to standing cactus hands. So our arms don't move so very much. So bending the left knee and drawing that right elbow to the left knee as we stick the bottom out. Firm belly, firm buttocks, press through the legs to return. One more like this. Bending the left knee, bringing the right elbow across the body, and then pressing back to return. Here, again, we're adding on. So we're going to turn both sets of toes to the left, so the right hip falls in a little bit here, rotates in that direction. We're going to do a different version of Trikonasana. So reaching your left arm up, you're going to use your right hand to revolve not your hips, which is the traditional way, but your rib cage to the long side of the mat. So the hip is falling in, the right hip is falling forwards, but the left shoulder is coming around. We've made a spiral in the body. And then we're lengthening over that left leg, nice long legs, and we can reach the right hand even up to the ceiling for a Trikonasana here. For a deep breath in, firm belly, firm buttocks, deep breath out. Turn your right palm up to the ceiling and then press through the legs to come back to standing. We're going to reach the right arm down and the left arm up, long legs still, but just gentle opening here. Come back to the center, and then we're going to bring the right hand forward. So we turn the body to the short end of the mat, pointing towards the left. A little softness in that front leg, coming up onto the ball of the back foot to transition into warrior three. Lengthening through that back heel, reach both hands ahead of you. And then from here, this is our balancing bit that we've missed off the first bit. We're bringing the right leg forward. We're going to make a twisted dancer, bringing the left elbow towards the right knee. And then come back to the center. And here, if you want to, you can add something called running man. So you can keep your heel kicked up behind you, Bend your left knee and bring your right elbow to your left knee, or in that general direction. And then come back to the center, and we just extend the right leg in front of us. Maybe do a little twist if you'd like to with your long right leg. Come back to warrior three. Oh my goodness, we've been on this left leg for ages. So from warrior three, we're going to place the right foot down nice and gently, turn to the center, both feet face forward, fold into a forward bend. A little soft sway, soft knees, soft upper body, holding elbow to elbow or just resting the hands on the floor. And then when you're ready, both knees bent, rolling up one vertebra at a time to come to standing. Oh my goodness. Let's turn our left foot to the left, soft knees, step both feet to the front of the mat on the left side, take a rest in Tadasana, and we'll do the whole thing to the opposite side. Yay! Okay, so just a couple of deep breaths here. Rearrange your clothing if you need to. Soften your jaw, maybe wiggle the bottom jaw from side to side. Swallow deeply, relax the shoulders, the face. And then turning the palms forward, we do the whole thing again. So inhale, reaching the arms up, firm belly, firm buttocks, open the chest. As you exhale, palms together and softly bend over your knees, coming into your forward bend. A chest opener here if you want to, interlacing the fingers behind the body. You can just hold your forward bend if you prefer. Lift in the belly muscles, relax the back of the neck by gently turning the head from side to side. Relax the hands, release the fingers, let the fingers just graze the mat as you sit into a deep chair pose. For a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Take your weight onto your left foot and the ball of your right foot, and then step your right foot as far back as you can for a deep breath in. Firm belly, firm buttocks, deep breath out. Press through the left leg, come into an upright lunge for a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. And then here, just let your breath go. It doesn't matter. We will continue to breathe, long arms, firming the right heel into the mat, reaching the arms out to the side. This is where we do a little bit of our twisting flow. So from here, we're bending the left knee, coming onto the ball of the right foot, pressing the right hand across the body as we twist, reaching the left hand behind us, and then cartwheeling the arms back to center, turning the toes out, settling into a nice goddess squat. Who knew this would be so restful? Okay, turning both feet towards the left, lengthening arms and legs. Bending the left knee, coming onto the ball of the right foot, pressing the right hand across the body, reaching the left hand behind us, and then cartwheeling through the arms to come into our goddess squat, toes pointing out to the side. Feel free to shift anytime you come here if it helps to release tension. And then turning the feet to the left again, arms wide, bending the left knee onto the ball of the right foot, press the right hand across the body, reach the left hand behind, and then cartwheeling through the arms for the last time to come into our goddess squat. And here in our goddess, turning the left heel out, so the hip rolls in, the leg is long, turning the right foot out and reaching the arms wide, palms turned upwards, we're in warrior two. Inhale, lift through the legs, lift the arms over the head, and exhale, imagine you're pressing the back heel away from you, firm into the front foot. Someone's dragging you backwards, maybe slightly with your left hand. Inhaling up, and exhale, sinking the weight between the two legs, looking over the palm of the right hand. Inhaling up and exhaling. In your warrior two, really firm in the buttocks, firming the heels particularly into the mat. Take the left arm forward and then draw your left hand back, reach your bow high up into the air, archer, and back to warrior two. Swing the left hand forward to the right, Draw your bow open, aim high, and back to warrior two. One more time, swinging forward, drawing open the bow, and back to warrior two. And then here, we're not doing the balancing yet. We're going to come back into a forward fold. So taking our opportunity, oh no, we're not forward folding. What am I saying? We can forward fold. Let's do a forward fold to release. Please excuse me. Just a little gentle sway from side to side. That's a nice thing to do after all of those strengthening postures for the back of the body, because it helps us to stretch out those structures. Then softness in the knees and rolling up to standing. Whew, good job. Okay, so here we're going to do our surfer squats with our cactus arms, but on the other side. So the toes are pointing basically forward, if that suits your hips, and then firm in the legs and the belly. We're going to bend the right knee and draw the left elbow towards that right knee by sticking our bottoms as far out behind us as we can, and then pressing through the legs to return to upright. Firm in the legs. Think about your quadriceps drawing your knees up as well. So bending the right knee, taking the left elbow towards the right knee or in that general direction, and then pressing through the leg to return. Cactus arms. Last time. And pressing through the leg to return. And then we've got our little added Trikonasana. So we're going to turn both feet towards the right. And here we let the left hip roll in. We're going to lengthen the right arm up and then use the left hand to draw the rib cage and the chest around towards the long side of the mat. So reversing that rotation. We spin the hip forward and the side of the chest open. And then reaching over the right leg with the right hand, reaching up with the left hand, coming into Trikonasana. Little firmness in the feet, the belly, the buttocks. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Look wherever is comfortable for your head. Turn your left palm up to the ceiling. Press that arm up, coming all the way up, firm in the feet, reaching the right arm up, the left hand down to open your side body as you come back to standing. And then releasing the right hand down, we're going to bring the left arm forward. So we rotate the hips towards the short end of the mat, or the right end of the mat. And then bend the right knee, get a little buoyant on that back leg. We're transferring weight, arms over the head, to lift the back leg up into warrior three as we extend through our fingers, extend through the heel, firm in the legs. We're going to lever ourselves, and we're going to pivot on our hips to come forwards with the left leg, twist to that left leg with the right elbow, twisted dancer pose. And from here, if you want to give it a go, running man. So the knee stays bent, the left heel comes behind the body, the right knee bends, and we bring the left elbow to the right knee. Very good. And then coming back to standing, this time with the left leg extended, the right arm extended, the left hand behind us, little twist, and then back to warrior three. And from warrior three, lightly placing the left foot to the floor, turning on our mats to the long side of the mat, and folding into a forward bend. Well done, guys. Little shifting of the weight from side to side. You can support with your hands if you'd like to. So we are going to roll up and do just the triangle on both sides again. Okay, so little softness in the knees, rolling up to center. Very good. Okay, so just the triangle part of the pose. We will do flying warrior. So we'll do triangle to warrior three and then step back and do the same thing to the other side. So first, the feet are pointing straight, cactus arms. We're bending the left leg first. So bending the left knee, taking the right elbow towards the left knee, stick your bottom out to do it, and then return to center. Let's just do one more of those. Bend the left knee, right elbow to left knee, and then return to center. We're going to turn our feet to the left. So both feet turn to the left, right hip falls into that left side. Reach the left arm up, use the right hand to revolve the rib cage, just the rib cage, not the hips, to the long side of the mat. And then from here, fold over your left leg, strong belly, strong buttocks, reaching the right arm up for a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Turn the right palm up to the ceiling, come back up to standing, reach the right arm down and the left arm up to open your chest. And then coming back to your beginning stance, we're going to turn the hips to the short end of the mat, reach both arms forward, take our weight more forward, softening both legs, pressing off the toes, and then coming into a flying warrior or a warrior three. Extend through your heel, hold just for a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And we're going to lightly step that right foot to the floor, come back to the center, square the feet to the front, fold forward. We'll take a moment in our forward bend, just softening the knees, swaying the upper body from side to side. Then both knees very soft, rolling up to standing. As you come up to standing, my toes sometimes end up in different directions, so I'm always checking that they're pointing straight. So if you want to, you can check they're pointing straight. Arms in cactus hands, and it's the right knee bending this time. So bending the right knee, firm belly, firm buttocks, draw the left elbow towards the right knee by bending the bottom backwards, and then coming back to center. And then we do one more, pressing through that left foot as we bend and pivot, and pressing through the right foot as we return. Turning both heels to the left, so both toes go to the right. The left hip is falling in. We're going to raise the right arm up and use the left hand to just draw the rib cage, not the hips, back to that long side of the mat. And then from here, reaching the right arm over the right leg, down to wherever feels good. We're not putting any weight into that hand. Reaching the left arm up, drawing the shoulder blades, firming the feet, the belly, the buttocks for a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Turning the left hand, pressing up to standing, and then reaching back with the left arm and up with the right to open that side of the body. Beautiful. Coming back to the center, we're going to bring the left hand forward, so both arms are reaching forward, the hips are rotating towards that narrow end of the mat. Soft in the front knee, pressing off the back heel, so we've got that momentum, that power, that transference of stability to be able to come into warrior three. Lengthening the heel, lifting that space between the shoulder blades, lifting in the belly, the buttock, and then gently putting the left foot down, turning to the long side of the mat. That is it. We are done with this. We are going to fold forward into our forward bend. For anyone who wants to, you can widen your forward bend so that you can bring the crown of your head down towards the mat and take a couple of deep breaths, but you don't have to. You can simply hold a forward bend in any position that feels good to you. A little sway, a little release. And we're actually going to come down to the mat. So coming down in any way that feels good from there, simply crossing the legs or crouching or releasing in some way. Join me, sitting for a moment in a comfortable upright position, could be kneeling, closing the eyes, letting the body absorb all of that work, that effort, that practice. When we do our yoga postures, we move energy through our physical, breath, sensory, intellectual and ethereal bodies. They're called the koshas, and you don't need to know the theory behind it particularly, but what that does is it expands our energy through our aura. Some people would call it an aura. And when we take these moments of stillness, and at the end of class, when we do our relaxation, our energy comes back to our center. So it doesn't leave us depleted, it leaves us revitalized. Take a moment to bring your hands to the center of your chest, lifting your chest and taking your chin towards your chest. Just feeling that gentle stretching down the back of the neck. Swallow deeply. Relax the face by gently smiling. And in your own time, raising your head, releasing your hands, opening your eyes. Fantastic stuff, guys. So we are going to do legs up the wall now, and then do a series of releasing postures. So finding a patch of wall, or if you can't find a patch of wall but you've got a block, you can do a little freestanding legs up the wall, where you place that block underneath the sacrum and just lift your legs up. It's less restful, but it's more restful with a block. It's less restful than having something to lean the feet on, but it's still a good option if you're completely freestanding, if you find it difficult to find a thing to rest your legs on. You can take your block to do legs up the wall as well if you'd like to. It doesn't matter where your bit of wall is. Getting as close as you can to it. Sliding your torso to the floor and your legs up. So if you're on a sofa, a bed or a chair, you might have the backs of the thighs supported by the upright, and then you can rest the heels of the feet onto the seat or the bed itself. If you're on the wall, you can lengthen your legs as much as feels comfortable. So if your hamstrings are really tight, or if you feel tight lines down the back of the body, just keep the knees nice and soft as long as you feel they're supported. You can have your legs as wide as you like. We've done quite a lot of wide leg work today, so that might not suit you today, but on a different day, you might prefer to have the legs a little wider. Wherever you are, just resting your hands either away from the body with the backs of the hands on the floor, or if you feel comfortable, relaxing your arms over your head, letting the shoulders and elbows and backs of the hands be supported by the floor as well. If neither of these feel particularly comfortable, or if you like to contain your energy towards the end of the class, then you can rest your hands on your abdomen. Elbows relaxed to the floor. Whichever of these feels most comfortable, let's just rest, relaxing the face, relaxing any effort you can from your jaw, your abdomen, your buttocks, your legs, your feet. And take 3 or 4 long, deep breaths. So I've taken 3 long deep breaths now. If you would like to stay exactly where you are, if you're feeling super comfortable, And you can do that. If you'd like to add your block, this is the time. So taking the feet to the wall if you're adding the block, or perhaps to the seat of the chair you're on, then placing your block underneath as you roll your hips up and rolling the back of the sacrum to the block as you roll the hips down. Lengthening the legs again, reaching the arms to wherever feels comfortable. Perhaps down by the sides will be more comfortable than over the head, now that the distribution of weight is more into the shoulders. And again, another 3 or 4 long, deep breaths. And I'll be counting mine. If you do more breaths than that, it doesn't matter. If you do fewer, it doesn't matter. I'll give you a shout when we're ready to move. Relax your face. Relax your feet, wiggle your toes if you need to release any tension there. Wiggle your jaw from side to side if you need to. Swallow deeply, soften the forehead. And breathe. And then just gently preparing to move. If you're up on a block, then placing the feet onto the wall or the chair to lift the hips and roll the hips back down into the floor. Then take a moment to bend your knees into your chest and just hug them towards you. If you're on a slidey floor like me, you can maybe push yourself a little bit away from the wall. You don't need to though. You can rock the knees from side to side, just massaging a little bit the low back. If you can manage to do some circling with your knees here. And that's also useful, just massaging the sacrum or the area around it. And then in your own time, rolling to one side and coming back to wherever you were practicing yoga. But you might want to take this opportunity to put on a jumper and gather your relaxation bits and pieces, because we will move in that general direction after we've done a little releasing. So whatever you need, I hope that you can still feel that vibrancy from our practice. We're just going to do a little reclining pigeon and spinal twist, and maybe a supported bridge if we've got time. So join me on your back when you can. Having your block handy just in case we get time for a supported bridge. And we'll start with the knees into the chest again. So taking your time, if you're still getting yourself together, don't worry about it. Just rocking from side to side, hands on the knees or not. You can make circles with the knees. You can go both in the same direction, opposite directions, whatever feels good. And then we're going to float the left foot to the floor and cross the right ankle over the left thigh. So here you can gently sway the left knee from side to side, just to begin to feel that outside area of the right hip, the IT band, or you might feel it differently. It might be around the outside of the buttock, perhaps. When you're ready, you can float the left knee towards you, so the foot's off the floor. A little flexion in both feet, not overly flexed, but just a little. And again, swaying side to side. Do it nice and slowly so that you can access a stretch or a rippling effect through the buttocks, through the supporting larger muscles of the right side of the pelvis. And then circling the knee, a little bit of activation here in the tummy muscles as well, but a massaging in the low back. Lovely, lovely effect. And in the opposite direction as well. And then taking your left foot to the floor, we're going to do a little half happy baby. So bringing the right knee towards the right armpit, holding the right foot. So the sole of the foot is as if it was standing on the ceiling or parallel to the ceiling. Don't let your left knee fall out to the left side to counterbalance. Draw that right knee as strongly as feels comfortable down towards the mat behind you. Hold for a deep breath in. Don't grip with the jaw or the face. Deep breath out. And then relax the right foot to the floor. The feet are wide apart from each other. Sway the knees from side to side. And when it feels comfortable, allow the knees to rest all the way to the left side, reaching the right arm up past the right side of the head or out to the right. Ease the inner right thigh and foot towards the floor, and if you feel you've got more space, you can cross the left foot over the right thigh to draw that leg closer to the mat to afford you an even deeper sense of length and space. Relax the jaw, the shoulders, the chest. Breathe deeply in. And deeply out. Uncross the legs, return the right arm to the side, firm in the belly to sway the knees back to center. Just do a gentle, light sway from side to side. And then resting the feet on the floor, cross the left foot or ankle, over the right leg, and sway the right knee from side to side. Just feeling where it feels comfortable. Perhaps this is enough for you today. Perhaps you need a bit more. If you do, draw your right knee towards you so the right foot is off the floor, light flexion in both feet, and then swaying the right knee slowly from side to side. That requires a little bit more effort in the tummy muscles. It's okay. We're going to release those after this. And circling, if circling feels comfortable or useful. If you prefer going side to side, just stick with going side to side. You'll still get that massage in the low back. If you're circling, rotating in the opposite direction as well. Relaxing the upper body as much as you can, the back of the head towards the floor, all that good stuff. Then floating your right foot down. Drawing the left knee towards the left side of the body, left knee towards the armpit. Hold the left foot with the left hand if you can, or around the back of the thigh if you can't, and have the left foot as if it was standing on the ceiling. Draw the left knee a little deeper. Make sure that your right foot is stable. You haven't dropped the knee out to the side. Take a deep breath in, relaxing the face. Deep breath out. And then releasing the left foot. Take the feet both down to the floor, nice and wide. A gentle sway of the knees from side to side. And then whenever it feels comfortable, resting the knees down to the right. Lengthening the left arm up alongside the ear, pressing the inner left thigh, inner left foot towards the mat. If that feels good, but you feel like you've got a bit more space, then resting the right foot on top of the left thigh to draw it towards the mat. Soften the shoulders, soften the face for a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Uncross the legs, relax your left arm to the left side, sway the knees back to the center, a little gentle releasing sway from side to side.
And I think we've just got time to do our supported bridge. So in the center, lifting the hips just enough to place the block underneath the body, underneath the sacrum. And we're going to go for a low setting today and a simple extending of the legs out to the sides of the mat. Let the toes fall out to the sides. If you can't do both legs at the same time, if it just doesn't feel comfortable to you, then that's okay. Just do one at a time, do a couple of deep breaths on each side. Here, relaxing the arms away from the body, softening all of the effort that you can. Feel the openness in the pelvis, the front of the pelvis across the hip flexors. See if you can release to find length there. If you're doing one leg at a time, swapping now. And then when you're ready to move, pointing the toes up to the ceiling, a little firmness in the belly to slide the feet back in, lifting the hips just enough to slide the block out, and then gently releasing them down. Make any adjustments you need to your posture for relaxation. So if you want to gather yourself some bits and pieces, I'm going to take a bolster underneath the backs of the legs. You can take the legs up the wall again if you'd like to. You can lie into a straight Shavasana. You can lie on your tummy for relaxation if you'd like to today, or any day indeed. So feet nice and wide. If you're on the floor with the toes falling out to the side, arms relaxed away from the body in any position, and turning the palms upwards. Just gently sway the nose from side to side if you're lying on your back. Feel that movement begin to slow down, so getting as slower and slower as you turn the head. And then just find yourself back in the center. Let's take a couple of deep breaths here. So we're going to breathe deeply in and sigh out through the mouth. And repeat 3 more times. Deep breath in. Let all of your effort go. A deep breath in. Let your muscles begin to relax. A deep breath in and surrender yourself down into your mat. Allow your breath to find its natural rhythm and fall away into silence. Soften the features of your face. Feel the space between your eyebrows spreading. The area around the eyes relaxing. Mouth, tongue, jaw releasing. Become aware of the back of the body. The back of the body has made so much effort in our practice. Allow it to feel heavy, warm, soft, and releasing down into the mat. Move your awareness to the front of your body. Feel the touch of air on your face. The movement of your clothes on your skin as you breathe. The sensation of holding space in the palms of the hands. Bring your awareness to your breath and allow your breath to find a natural, deep, slow rhythm. Each breath in, drawing in light, energy, harmony. Each breath out, releasing tension, fatigue, discomfort. Breathing in light, energy, harmony. Breathing out tension, fatigue, discomfort. Allow your breath to find this rhythm for the remainder of your relaxation, softening a little deeper with every exhalation.
Gently begin to deepen your breath. Bring your awareness back to your fingers and toes, wiggling them around, maybe rolling your ankles and your wrists. When you feel ready, take a deep breath in and stretch the arms and the legs. Maybe stretch through the sides of the body, maybe stretch the face in a yawn. Feel that rippling pandiculation, like you'd just woken up from a really glorious sleep. When you're ready, you can bend your knees into your chest, hug them towards you. Make any movements that feel good, a rocking, a rolling, or a simple hugging, and swaying the nose from side to side. In your own time, rolling to your side, curling up for a moment, just letting your body come round a little at a time. And then making your way to any comfortable seated position. Today we're going to finish with palming the eyes because that's good for the eyes in spring to do that. So rubbing the hands together vigorously, getting lots of heat into the hands, movement into the arms, the shoulders, pressing firmly, rubbing hard. And when they begin to feel warm, placing the hands over the eyes. Feel that warmth soften and release the area around the eyes, blinking into your palms a few times before you release your hands down as you open your eyes. Thank you very much for joining this practice. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you feel really full of that spring vitality this weekend, and I'll see you next week. Namaste.